Hey parents, I've been getting a lot of questions about long distance learning, and so I'm going to give you 5 things you can do with your family to help your student have success with virtual learning. Jade on Mom here, grown mom with grown kids, and we're talking about success with virtual learning. So many kids are not going to school to learn in the building. They're at home learning. So how can we help that to be successful? When the kids were growing up, there were different times when we'd have school set up with stations and a school schedule. It would be maybe at the end of the long summer coming into the school year to prepare them. And so some of the things that I learned during this homeschooling, I'm sharing with you. Firstly, let's say there's no right answer for this, no standard answer for this, because this is a steep learning curve for all involved, for the teachers, for the school system, for the way to get the curriculum over that's not face-to-face now. Some things need to be adjusted to make it more manageable and to be received by the students in this manner. The parents being involved on another level, learning how to get their kids set up and help them even to answer questions. So just keep that in mind as we're going through these tips for success. So here are my 5 things to help with that. Number 1, adjust your perspective. Yes, learning new things can be challenging. They take more time, effort, patience, and they can feel frustrating, overwhelming, and discouraging. Instead of viewing it as a challenge, view it as an adventure, something to take on and get excited about. Positively frame it to your child, like we're going to take this on together and we are going to accomplish it. Number 2, adjust your expectations. This is not just school as you know it. You've been in school all this time, you know what to do. No, this is very different. Yes, there are some things that are the same, like you're seeing the faces, you're hearing the teacher talk, your classmates may be saying things, but it's not the same in a lot of ways, both physically and emotionally, because you're not actually there. So you can't really touch anybody or goof around or roughhouse or anything. You can't watch all the nuances of all the faces. Depending on how you're set up, maybe you only see your teacher, maybe it's live streamed, maybe it's on video. There's so many different ways that this can go. You also feel maybe isolated. Your child might feel like they're just alone doing this, even though they have the screen that they're looking at. So as a parent, make sure you're acknowledging that. Set new expectations that break this whole process, this whole experience into chunks and small goals that are achievable. For example, simply logging in, figuring out where to go, which portal, what buttons to use, how to navigate, all of this can be daunting. So maybe set a challenge that, hey, let's see if we can get all logged in and ready to go in 5 minutes. Maybe it takes 3 minutes the next day, and a few days later, before you know it, you're on there in a snap. And that's a success you can celebrate. Set an expectation to be on time for live streams. Maybe it's taking a while, so you're ending up entering into the live stream late. Let's just work on getting that quicker and getting on time. Maybe set expectations to watch videos or lessons a chunk at a time and help them master little bits and feel successful. Number 3, don't stress out about things you and your child couldn't master. This is new stuff here. So if you can't quite get up to speed and it takes a while, it's a learning curve. Don't stress about that. Give grace and accept the progress that's being made. You had old expectations when your child was in school. You may have had something down to a science. They knew what they had to do, what you expected, but these things have to change because this virtual new learning is different and the expectations must be adjusted to accommodate that. Now, this is not an excuse for poor effort, indifference, or simply not wanting to do the work. Instead, it's grace and acceptance for all of the good effort and the progress that's being made, celebrating the victories and helping them know that you haven't mastered it yet, the material or perhaps the process, but you're in it and you're giving it your effort. So praise their effort and their progress and their small victories. Don't let those go unnoticed. And encourage diligence, further effort, perseverance, and be their cheerleader. Stay involved in the process and advocate for them and help them to continue to move forward. Help them see their ability to take on this new adventure and to win, even if they're small victories. Take them, hold them, and use them to push forward as they go through. In fact, that's what learning is. This is learning. You take on some new thing you don't know, you don't understand, something that might even give you a headache because just so much going on. But you take it and you persevere in the face of it and you push through and you don't give up. You might take frustration breaks and kind of, but then you come back to it and you give it another effort. That's what learning is. Let's take advantage of this chance for our children to learn. Number 4, try not to complain. Parents, I know you might feel like this is ridiculous, this is the dumbest thing, this is stupid, whatever you're feeling about it. Please don't do that in front of your children, because what you're doing is you're telling them that's how they should feel. Our kids trust us, they believe us, they follow along with us. And if that's the example we're setting, that's what they're going to feel and that's what they're going to do. For older kids, like teens, they're more accustomed to doing a lot of stuff online anyway. They may have already had online platforms that their teachers had, that they were able to, download assignments and do a lot of things on their own or self-paced. So the teens may find it a bit easier to acclimate to this. However, even then, we still need to stay involved and help our teens not feel like, hey, you know how to do this, just go do it. It's still a new thing on some level. They're still home. They're away from their peers. They're feeling different things psychologically. So still be there for them and just kind of help them manage and maybe launch them into success. And number 5, make sure they have downtime, fun time. School is school. Home is home. But right now, school is home for a lot of kids. So we have to help them separate those two things. And you might do that with things like setting up the school place maybe in a slightly different area. If you're able to, maybe a separate room or, an area that feels a little different. If you don't have the space and maybe you have a laptop or a computer set up somewhere in the house, maybe you can put up a poster or a sign or something to make them feel like they're in school. Maybe let them bring their lunchbox or a backpack. Have them get dressed in the morning for school so they're not flopping out of bed in their pajamas and feeling this state of mind like, yeah, whatever, I'm just home and I have to do this stuff. Get them in that whole frame of mind. Those things might help with that. And make sure they're having like recess if they're younger kids or just break time, downtime, so that they're not feeling so frustrated and overwhelmed by the whole process. You know your kids best. You know how they work best. Like for one of my sons in particular, Kai, he really just needed a break. He needed to run around and do something else. So he would do some school, he would come home, and then he would run around and play and get a bunch of energy out, and then it would be time to do work. So find ways to help your child have an outlet. Maybe they need a snack, have snack time and nourish them, or have them snack while they're studying, or whatever it's going to take to help them to break up this whole process so they feel like they can take it on a bit at a time. Even though this process is different, it can be successful. Of course, parents, you're going to have to be more involved than ever because this is right in your house and you're having to get in the mix and teach your kids some of this stuff that they can't figure out on their own. Parents have always helped kids with their schoolwork, but now it's just on a different level. So I commend you. I give you my support and my encouragement to be there, jump in the fight, and help your child to be successful with virtual long-distance learning. Well, that's it. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you again soon. This is Jade on Mom. Izzy.